Hello everyone and welcome back. We continue our tracking journey and we are moving to the magic mask. The magic mask uses AI in order to track the thing that you want to be tracked. Before, in the previous versions of DaVinci Resolve, the only thing that you can track with the magic mask, it used to be just a person or a feature of a person. And the feature of a person is, for example, arms, exposed skin, clothing, face, hair, legs, and yada yada. But now you can track actually any object. But if you have a person and you want to track person, you're going to need to use this person tool. So let's discuss what magic mask does. The magic mask is available under this tab. Before we're going to create any type of selection, let's determine what kind of thing or person we're going to track. In this particular case, we're going to track the person rather than the object. And we are not going to track just the person, we're going to track the feature. We're selecting all of that in order for the AI to understand better what it is we are going to track. And it's going to give you a better result if you select the thing that we are selecting right now beforehand. Now, let's select feature and select clothing. In this particular case, it is top clothing. Now, the advices that DaVinci gives, they are as following. We need to create lines, short lines. I used to think that we need to create long lines covering the whole thing, but no, we need to create short lines, up to 5. The less the lines, the better. So we are creating the add line, the picker with a plus. This is the add line. It means that we're adding something to the tracker, to the magic mask. Shift H to enable highlight. And we're waiting for the machine to figure out what is going to be tracked. This thing is really going to work your processor. So the better the processor that you have, the faster it is going to work. Now, we can view our selection right now. It did a pretty good job. But in case it didn't, we need to select this minus line and select everything that we do not want the tracker to include the magic mask. But in this particular case, it did a pretty good job. Now, let's refine what we have here. We have two quality options, faster and better. The faster is going to be faster, but the better is going to be better. Pretty straightforward. Let's select the better one, and let's use our smart refine in order to refine the selection that is in here. Now we have these modes, shape, and yada yada in order to refine our selection further. Consistency is going to work only when we have this information tracked, because this has created the selection for only one frame. We need to track it back and forth like before. So the magic mask contains the tracker within itself. It is not just a selection like power window, it is also a tracker. Now, let's refine blur radius, clean black, clean white, and we need to track it. In order to track it, you can click as before, tracking back and forth, track forward, track backward, and yada yada. I'm not going to do that because it's going to choke up my processor. It's going to start lagging my sound. I do not really want that, so I'm going to leave it as it is. Or I'm going to do that just in the background, so I'll see you once the track is done. Let's press track back and forth. So the track is done, and as you can see, once we move through the tracking data, we can see that the track is good, but not perfect. It is far from being perfect, actually. And this is happening. Let's increase consistency a bit. This is happening because this is not that magic as it says. Nothing is going to replace the manual rotoscoping for the huge and important projects. But if you want to select something that is moving not that drastically, as in this particular case, or not moving at all, this tracking and masking is really great. We can also position a window in here, and the tracking information is going to be contained within this window. We're using both worlds. We're using this tracking that has been done on the clothing, and we can add the power window as well. And now we can do something to the tracking. But as you can see, if we're doing something drastic, we need to increase blur radius for it to look. Of course, for this particular situation, the qualifier is much better because we can qualify the color and the qualifying his clothing. It is going to do a much better job, but I do not really have another footage, so we're working with this one. These things are going to do the same thing, this one, as the power window. It is going to select everything that is not selected. And this one, toggle mask overlay, it is going to show you in red what have you selected. Now we can add additional strokes. For example, I want to include this, and the software is going to recalculate all of that. It is going to recalculate back and forth once I'm adding, and I also can move this stroke to a new position. And the software is going to recalculate all of that. So if you've changed something in here, do not think that the tracking, the selecting data remains the same. No, it is going to be changed. But I'm changing this for only one frame because it is not tracked. You can see that this track is blue. It means that it is tracked, and this only has one tick. It means that it is existing only for one frame, and I need to track it in order for it to work. Now, what can we do in here? If we create multiple strokes, let me demonstrate. For example, I'm creating here and here and here. I want to track all of that. Once I click track back and forth, the DaVinci is going to track all of these strokes. But as an example, what if I want to track only one stroke? In this case, you're going to select the stroke that you want to track and click in here and select track selected stroke only. This way it is not going to affect the other strokes. It is going to track only the stroke that you have selected. We can delete them. Now, if we want something to be excluded from the selection, we're going to select that, and we're going to draw a shape on the surface that we want to be excluded from our track, from our selection. So the magic mask is useful, pretty useful, but it is heavy on your system, and it is once we have tracked everything in here, as you can see, if I hit play, it is going to give a really hard time to my machine because it is really heavy on the processor. So I would use that as a last resort because this is going to slow me down incredibly. I would rather sit in here and try to work my way using qualifiers and power windows. By the way, about power windows, we can use them, as I said before. I probably said that, but I'm going to emphasize that. We can use the qualifiers with the windows and track that on top of our character. Let's drag this. Let's select the color. Let's make a selection that is not that particularly great. Prefilter. Prefilter. So I have selected the clothing of our character, but I also have selected some leaves. And in order to isolate the selection, I would create a power window, and then I would track that power window back and forth. And this way, the selection is going to be much cleaner rather than using Magic Mask. Because Magic Mask, it's not doing such a great job, and it is such a heavy tool to use. So use it sparingly. Think before you use the Magic Mask, because it is going to slow you down significantly. So this is all that I wanted to talk about regarding the Magic Mask. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.